can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Time to rise and grind.
Are you kidding me? Holy and smoke!
And let's get this banter going.
It's bacon!
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Does anybody else feel like a fried egg?
And it begins now.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell,
I think I just broke my chair. He did what?
Has anybody ever told you you have a serious impulse control problem?
There is but one cause for me to follow. Almighty the bum!
And here we go.
Oh, yeah!
Top of the circle, McLemore. Great pass at Coro to the Hork goal.
Now that was set play, a little ball movement, gets a wide open shot for Otero.
8 points on the night for Isaac Okoro. 13 for Crawley, 65-60, 5:49 to go in the second half of play. McCormick leads it. McLemore to the hole, and the alley-oop, it's good.
Dump in by Chicago. There goes Leonard for the extra attacker. Lassick and Hurdle lifted clear. Glove down by Goodrow. Moves around a check. Poked at center by Meyer. Meyer's got it at the blue line. Shoots. Star! Great to see Timo Meyer finish that one off. Sharks 4, Blackhawks 2, an empty net goal for Meyer.
Two-on-one short-handed with Zizekas. Clutterbuck through the left circle to Zizekas in the right. Shoots and scores! Casey Zizekas with a short-handed goal on a beautiful feed from Cal Clutterbuck.
Here.
And I'm going to tell you, this is an important 7 minutes from a Leaf standpoint. They have seen a lot of one-goal leads.
Now here's a 2-on-1. Nylander going in on the right side. Scores!
Very important 6 minutes and 54 seconds as the Leafs get the LA Kings caught on a turnover, and William Nylander converts on a 2-on-1.
Let's go. Good morning. Welcome to the Wacky Wednesday edition of Snowman in the Morning. And I want to do a favor for a friend. Today's show is brought to you by, those cookies. Whether it is the peanut butter, the chocolate chip, or the red velvet cookie crumble, you won't believe these cookies are gluten-free. Visit thosecookies.com. Yeah, those cookies can't stop eating. Yum. And we are looking for advertisers for this show. You want to get your brand, a product, or service out there? Drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That's snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. And we are powered this morning by SDW Virtual Executive Assistant. My good friend Sylvia Wilson, providing services for you, handling your business your way. Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Wednesday edition. I was off yesterday because I had some things to handle. They got handled, and we're back for another Wednesday edition. Mike Debate will join me at the bottom of this hour. Chris Dietz will join me at the top of hour 2. But I want to begin with a Snowman's take that I have beaten into the ground, but I'm going to continue to beat it into the ground because it's fun. Yes, the Lakers are 6-1. Yes, they beat my beloved Bulls last night, coming back from 13 down to win 118-112. Yes, LeBron has 3 consecutive triple-doubles to start the season. But for all of you folks that are putting LeBron in the World Championship Series already, please stop. Just stop, okay? Until they actually make the playoffs, shut up, okay? I've said and will continue to say all along that LeBron James is a fantastic athlete. Yes, he is a wonderful athlete. Can't deny that. What I can put with it as a caveat is that he's not a good basketball player. Has he gotten better? I can't say either way. I can't say either way, and I won't say either way. But until he truly leads his team to a championship without NBA chicanery getting in, without someone rescuing his legacy, i.e. Ray Allen, until he stops traveling all over the place to get to the basket, until he decides to actually work on a post game and he's 17 years in, so he'll never develop a post game. Shut up. Will you please? I really don't care anymore, nor have I, about one LeBron James. Now, if he wins a championship with the Lakers, then I will pay attention. If he wins a title with the Lakers and was truly at the point of leading them there, then yeah, I'll talk. But until then, I'm not talking. Yeah, they're 6-1, but they still have, the Lakers are 6-1. Yes, they have won 6 in a row. Okay? I'll give you that. They have won 6 in a row. Listen to me carefully, folks. They have won 6 in a row. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But it's only the 6th of November. And remember, the season kicked off early this year, and they got a foot put in their ass by Kawhi Leonard and the Los Angeles Clippers, who are one of my picks to go to the NBA Finals. Okay? I said it. I still believe in my Golden State Warriors. Hell yeah. But they got a ton of injuries. A ton. I'll get to them a little bit later. And the Warriors are probably going to lose tonight against a healthy Rockets team. But the only thing that's stopping the Warriors right now, they're not healthy. They got their 3 core players are out with an extended injury. Okay? I'll give you all of that. But as far as LeBron goes, he didn't play until June last year. Whoop-de-freaking-do. That's what you get for not putting the correct team together and trying to throw the rest of your teammates under the freaking bus. That's what you get. And it's going to happen again this year. I don't care what people say about them being about it being a matchup of Los Angeles for the NBA World Championship Series. Bullshit. I'll believe it when I see it. And right now, I'm not believing it, even with them being 6-1. Why, you ask? There is a very glaring omission on the Lakers roster that I've spoken about many times before, and people still don't want to believe that this is happening. The glaring omission is they do not have a point guard. You want me to say it again? I'll say it again. And my buddy Andre Melton's a big-time LeBron fan, and I pick on him every chance I get. Listen to me carefully, Dr. Dre. The Lakers do not have a point guard. No point guard, no Lakers. Period. That's the glaring omission no one wants to talk about. And no one ever wants to talk about the fact that they don't have a doggone point guard. They mortgaged their future to get Anthony Davis. There's some infernal humming going on. I'll try to fix it as we go along, but I thought that was it. It wasn't. They don't have a point guard. All right. The Clippers have the same problem, but I expect the Clippers to fix that problem well before the Lakers do. You can't have LeBron and AD carry you to April. Some other players are going to have to step up. Okay? And watch what happens. Mark my words. It's for you, Mr. Heffernan. Mark my words. The first time the Lakers struggle, and it's coming. It's coming. The first time the Lakers struggle or they talk about load management with LeBron or Anthony Davis, the whispers are going to get louder. And as far as LeBron James is concerned, you can put him at the point guard all you want. He's not a point guard. He's built like a brick house forward. that wants to play point guard but can't. And here's something else for you. Listen to this. Not only do they not have a point guard, the first time that they struggle, LeBron's going to attempt to throw his entire team under the flipping bus. You watch. You watch. He's going to try to throw every teammate. He did it to Kuzma already last year. Oh, how quickly we forget. He wanted Anthony Davis on his team so bad. He wanted Anthony Davis on his team so bad that he was willing to mortgage the future in Kyle Kuzma and throw every other young teammate under the bus, including Julius Randle, who's now with the Pelicans. He was willing to throw everybody under the bus, and he did. And you still didn't get Anthony Davis until the off season. To me, the Lakers made two horrible mistakes in mortgaging their future. Number one, they mortgaged their future to get LeBron. Whoop-de-frickin-do. And secondly, they have mortgaged their future to get Anthony Davis, who's only going to stay 1 year. He's not going to sign a long-term deal with the Lakers. And matter of fact, I will put this out there. I'll put it out there for everybody to hear, and I want y'all to hear me carefully. It goes like this. Anthony Davis is going to be a Bull after this season or midway through this season. Now, if things continue to be rosy and things continue to go well, that may change. I'll give you that. But after this season is over, Anthony Davis is out of there. Period. Anthony Davis wants to go home. And home is Chicago. What's the matter? Y'all can't understand what I'm saying? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Yes, I'm a little ornery today, and I'm having fun with it. Anthony Davis wants to go home. Kawhi Leonard, same situation. Paul George, same situation. Listen to me. Anthony Davis wants to go home, and he's going to leave LeBron in the lurch, and he should not have joined with LeBron in the first place. I hate to inform you of this, but it's happening. And what really makes this sad, all these Laker fans, I'm not going to talk to the true Laker fans, not the ones that have always been there for their team. Not going to talk to them. I'm talking about these bandwagon fans that are big stands of LeBron and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is a generational talent, but his career is finished. He can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy. He hasn't played a full season since he's been in the NBA. And by God, he's had many chances to lead New Orleans to the promised land. But the management there screwed him up. Anthony Davis will play one season in Los Angeles, and when they fail to make the playoffs, he's gone. He's going home. That's Snowman's take. What's yours? I'm going to pause for a break and try to figure out what the heck's going on with my equipment here. But when y'all get back, I got another Snowman's take for you. This time it concerns another one of my favorite teams. Let you know who and what that is. Snowman in the morning this morning, brought to you in part by, those cookies, whether it is the red velvet cookie crumble. Can't talk this morning. Whether it's the red velvet cookie crumble, the peanut butter, or the chocolate chip, you won't know these cookies are gluten-free. I said it, gluten-free. Hey, catch me every morning on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Call the show at 773-672-3208. Drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com and pick up the podcast every day at 3 p.m. on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. And you can hear me every morning at 9 a.m. on Arena Sports Net, Full Press Radio, KSRN Arizona, and Western Reserve Digital Radio 2. Hey, don't go anywhere. Snowman in the morning. Back in the flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
Excellent.
Oh, you can.
Hey, we got some advertising available for you. If you want to advertise during this here program, drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That's snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. Or give a call to 773-672-3208. Off and rolling here on this Wednesday edition. Dropped you my take on LeBron and what he needs to do to shut me up and what the Lakers need to do to shut me up, and they haven't shut me up yet. Ha-ha! I'm having fun with it. Don't take me serious. I'm having fun with it. I got another one for you, and it goes like this. They are going to get the test of their lives, of their young lives, this coming Monday night in a home game against the out-of-sight Seattle Seahawks. As much as I pick on Seahawks fans, much as I pick on the team and their fans, Russell Wilson is balling. All right? Russell Wilson is balling out of his mind. But so are my beloved San Francisco 49ers. 8-0 coming into what is a division clinching match on Monday against the Seahawks. I know what the excuses. Listen, I've heard it all season. Yeah, they're undefeated, but, and I take this from a Jim Rome segment that I heard earlier in the week. Yeah, they're undefeated, but their running game is dynamite. Yeah, but they're undefeated, but what are they going to do the second half of the season? That's the ultimate that's the ultimate but that's facing the 49ers. Do you see the confidence in which this team is playing right now? All phases of the game are working. Remember, the first 4, 5, 6 games of the year, they leaned on their defense and a punishing running game. A punishing running game. Breida the Cheetah, Matt Breida out of Georgia Southern, undrafted. One of the biggest reasons this 49er running offense is where it is. Yeah, but Jimmy G hasn't shown anything. Did you see him Thursday night against the Arizona Cardinals? 28 of 37, 317 yards, a career-high 4 touchdowns. Yeah, but they haven't shown us anything. Oh, really? You don't think the frustrated Panthers know about the 49ers now? 7 sacks and 3 interceptions, including Nick Bosa? Yeah, but they're injured up front. They get Joe Staley back this week. The 49ers are the lone unbeaten team remaining this year in the NFL. That's going to change down the road. I know that. But if you really want to look at this honestly, the 49ers are going to be playing with house money for the remainder of the year. Try again. The 49ers are playing with house money for the remainder of the year. They're playing with house money. Why are they playing with house money? Because if you think about the beginning of the season, preseason as a matter of fact, there were so many questions surrounding the 49ers, offense, defense, special teams. Can Jimmy G finally come into his own after an injury? Can Nick Bosa come into his own? How is he going to fit with that defense? How are the 49ers going to turn it around after having so much hype the year before that they didn't come through because of injuries? There's your answer. They were riddled with injuries. Lots and lots and lots of injuries. And yeah, they're dealing with a lot of injuries this year. Joe Staley injured broken fibula in week 2. Kyle Juszczyk sprained torn MCL, out for 6 weeks. They're missing 7 starters. 6 now with Joe Staley coming back. And yet they are still the lone undefeated team remaining in the NFL. This is all about attitude with the 49ers. I've said it for years. In their glory days, I read a line in one of my old Chicago newspapers that said about the 49ers back in the day. Of course, this is the dynasty era. Montana, Rice, Roger Craig, Bill Romanowski, all those guys. We don't take what we want. We don't take what the defense gives us. We take what we want. And that held true right through the Steve Young era. It's starting to come to fruition now. The 49ers have won all types of games this year. Blowout Tampa Bay, blowout Cincinnati, commit 5 turnovers against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Garoppolo hits Dante Pettis with a game winner. 3-0, and everyone all of a sudden is going, what? The 49ers are doing this? Monday Night Football against the Cleveland Browns. Yes, the Cleveland Browns, who were so hyped up this year and are so overhyped now. 2-6, the Freddie Kitchens experiment. This is for my friend, the dog father, Robert Cobb. The Freddie Kitchens experiment needs to be completed. He needs to go. Only teams that are worse are the New York Jets and the Chicago Bears. I still have a little faith in the Chicago Bears. Mike and I will talk about that in about 180 seconds from now. But look at the 49ers. Their real season, I will say, with nervous excitement, their real season begins Monday night when they face the Seattle Seahawks. But for all the but every team they have played they have beaten. And Arizona gave them one hell of a challenge. Don't get it twisted. They're building something special in Arizona. Something very, very special in Arizona. Kyler Murray, I had my doubts. But after seeing him run wild against the best defense in the NFL, hey, they're on something. And what a pickup Kenyon Drake was for the Arizona Cardinals. And for those of you on the video feed, you're seeing nothing but graphics today, doing a little experiment. But be that as it may, and I got the wrong graphic up here. I apologize for that. But be that as it may, the 49ers can do nothing but play the teams that are in front of them. And everybody is waiting for the bubble to burst. Everybody is waiting for the second half of the 49ers season to begin. And teams, they see Seattle, they see Arizona. They go 3 straight home games coming up for the 49ers. So they get a lot of home cooking. Seattle Monday night, next Sunday Arizona, the Sunday after that Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. And that could be an NFC Championship preview right there. 2 of the 3 games, Seattle and Green Bay, could be NFC Championship previews. Then they go on the road to Baltimore. They hit New Orleans. But given the way this young team is playing right now, they're playing with house money. They are playing with a lot of house money. So everything they get, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to put them in the Super Bowl yet, although I'm cautiously going to when Mike comes on here in 120 seconds. They're playing with house money. And whatever they get from here on out, just leave next year when they really take over. 120 seconds from now, you'll hear the voice of Mike Debate, and we will talk more about these glowing 49ers. Back in a flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
Thanks a lot, Doc.
Next! Oh man, I'm enjoying today. For those of you on the video feed, trying a few new things, and we're doing graphics only today. I'll bring the camera back tomorrow, but I just want to test a few things that I learned from my buddy Petey Doris last night during our call. We hope that you enjoyed it. Thanks to the folks at SHN Sports as well as the Triangle Sports Hub for making the Snowman feel welcome. And speaking of welcome, I want to make this man feel welcome. This is Mike Debate from Full Press Coverage, my partner in crime for the NFL, and he joins me right now. Good morning, sir.
Hello?
Yes?
Hi, Snowman. This is the dog father.
I rang the dog. Oops. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We can talk.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get Mike to... This goes on the blooper reel, okay? I'll get Mike Debate on in a second. You said something.
No problem.
Listen, we got a few minutes. You said something that I want you to expand on really quick. Freddie must go. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Freddie needs to get fingered 5 minutes ago yesterday.
With all the hype coming into this season, why didn't they address the offensive line?
Well, because they were too enamored with all the OBJ hype of him landing in Cleveland, making a big splash. People here in Cleveland were so excited and so over the moon about when the Browns traded for OBJ that the offensive line became a bit of an afterthought. A lot of people felt that there was good offensive linemen in the draft, which was true, and that Kevin Zeiler really wasn't that big of a loss, which is not true. And now it's coming back to bite us in the rear end.
Yeah, it is. Well, I got to let you go quickly because I do have Mike Debate on, so I'll bring you back on a little later, all right?
All right, sounds good.
Okay, folks. I made a horrible mistake. Horrible mistake. I'm going to correct it right now. This is Mike Debate, and he joins me right now. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. Always a pleasure to join you midweek, my friend.
See, when it's your day, it's your day. I make a mistake. I have a quick conversation about the Browns, and then the person who's scheduled to come on is on right now. And my friend, look at the 49ers, the last undefeated team standing. And as I said during the segment before I went to break, you can throw all the yeah buts out there that you want, but the 49ers to this juncture have beaten every team in front of them.
Absolutely. No question about it. And look, and then there were one, I guess is the best way to put it, my friend, but they deserve it. And they are a deserving. Look, you don't get unbeaten at this stage in the NFL season without being a deserving unbeaten team. And the San Francisco 49ers are the best team in football right now. Their record bears that out. The way they're playing on the field bears that out. Their defense has been phenomenal. There is no question about it. It's been the strength of their team. But Jimmy Garoppolo now has a viable receiver in his arsenal to go along with the already formidable receiving core that he had already. He has a tremendous running back. And these are the things that championship caliber teams do. They take pieces that they have, add something, an ingredient that helps to even enhance what they have, and it helps them to move forward. So I really love the way this team is constituted. And to me, until someone unseats them, they are going to be the top spot.
You're going to get a test Monday night against the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, I'll give you that. It's going to be a test and a half for them. But I want to talk about one player on the offense in particular that's finally getting some notice that I spoke of 2 years ago. Does the name Matt Breida mean anything to you?
Oh, it absolutely does. And every time I see his name adorn the scoreboard, I think of you, my friend, because you've been telling me all along. And I've always been a fan of Breida, but the faith and the confidence that you showed in him made me take a closer look. And I love what I see from him. His ability to cut, his ability to find the seam has been great this year. And he's given Jimmy Garoppolo, a real viable threat in the running game that's opened up the San Francisco 49ers offense so much. For the first few weeks of the season, the 49ers were a very run-heavy team, and there's a reason for it. It's because that run game opens up so much for the San Francisco 49ers offense. Breida has been a huge part of that, and he'll continue to be. He is a great running back in this league. He's going to continue to have a good season, and as long as they continue to ride his legs along with the weapons that Jimmy now has at his disposal around him, it's going to be a very fun San Francisco offense to watch.
And I believe from here on out, they're playing with a lot of house money because no one gave them more than 8 wins. They've matched that already, and I believe they're going to go over it Monday night in a crucial test against the Seattle Seahawks. But the layers of the 49ers, early on, they were a run-heavy team, like you said. Then they relied on their defense to rescue them against the Steelers. The offense did just enough. But then Thursday night, we saw the coming-out party of one Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, we did. And it really showed, everybody that has an eye on this team, fans, pundits, the media members alike, that now the 49ers have an ability to put the ball in the hands of their quarterback and have him control the game and have him take over the game. That's been the biggest knock on Jimmy Garoppolo. A lot of people have called him that quote-unquote game manager, which is a term that I absolutely despise, for anybody. Because, you make it to the NFL at a level and you're an NFL quarterback, you're already more than a game manager. You've done your opportunity to be able to do that. So I've never put a lot of stock into that, game manager, system quarterback. I think those are all garbage terms. And I think really anybody that uses them doesn't completely understand the game of football. His ability to be able to throw touchdowns, take the game on his back when he needs to, showed me a lot from the 49ers the other night, and it also is such a great compliment to that excellent defense.
It really is, and that defense, wasn't all that against Arizona, but folks in Arizona, don't get it twisted. They're building something special down with the Arizona Cardinals. Let's go back to Sunday night. Patriots and Ravens. Did we possibly see a playoff matchup between those two teams?
Well, you had to bring up Sunday night. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, it is the game of the week. It is all anybody's talking about up here, especially in New England. I truly believe we have. I think right now, two teams are the best teams in the AFC. And I say that without much hesitation. Look, I understand the Kansas City Chiefs have played well in the absence of Patrick Mahomes. They still have a little ways to go in terms to get him back. Their defense has played very well, and I'm not definitely taking anything away from them. But when you take a look at the two most complete teams, I believe it is the Patriots, it is the Ravens. And the Ravens exposed some difficulties in the Patriots defense. And look, I've been watching this, for the last couple of weeks, as have most Patriots fans and the media up here in Boston. And we've seen some cracks in the foundation when it comes to the Patriots defense. If you want to go at them, you run the ball at them, essentially. Where the Patriots really lost this game and where it came off the rails was the fact that the defensive line of the Patriots lost the battle against the offensive line of the Baltimore Ravens. They were able to push these guys around. They didn't really show anything exotic. I think a lot of people are making a lot more out of what the Ravens did and saying, oh, they gave them these looks that were so crazy. And so it really wasn't a situation like that. You have to credit Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram. And I want to give a lot of credit to offensive coordinator of the Ravens, Greg Roman. He had a great game plan. What they did was prevent the Patriots from being able to pick up how the ball was going to be handed off and what that meant, whether it was going to be a run or a pass. The Patriots have been very poor in defending these RPOs, those run-pass options. That's the key to beating them. The problem is you expose the Patriots on a week where they have 2 weeks to prepare for their next opponent. Exactly. You can bet Bill Belichick is borderline sleeping in his office right now with his coaching staff, and they are devising ways to come up with ways to fix this. And look, the Patriots linebackers right now, they do lack a little bit of speed to defend these RPOs. It's very difficult, and that's something you can't manufacture. But what you can do is devise systems that'll be able to help you out. So don't be a bit surprised to see the Patriots maybe even creep back into playing a little bit of 4-3 as opposed to 3-4. But credit the Baltimore Ravens. They showed me a lot on Sunday night, not just on the field, but in terms of heart and intestinal fortitude as well. They took the Patriots' best shot in that game, and they were able to take it back when they took the momentum back. So all the credit to the Ravens. They played a great game on Sunday night.
You mentioned the name Greg Roman, who is the Ravens offensive coordinator, and his success with RPOs. 6 years ago, he was the offensive coordinator for, oddly enough, the 49ers.
Absolutely. And it all comes back. It's all cyclical, my friend. And you know what? It really, really is. Everything's connected. The destiny is on the wall, and you can almost see some of the Final Four teams starting to emerge now.
Yep. New Orleans gets back in action this week. The 49ers will see them down the road, but there's a couple of downtrodden teams, and unfortunately one of them is the Chicago Bears. Nagy is on the hot seat right now. How do the Bears right the ship?
Well, unfortunately, I think the Bears right the ship by staying the course. I don't think they have much alternative right now. Look, Matt Nagy is on the hot seat. You're absolutely right. I've heard the whispers. I think it would be a mistake to jettison Matt Nagy at this point, considering that I think there's been a lot of other problems that have contributed, particularly the play at the quarterback position. And look, we've gone up and down about Mitch Trubisky, and I've had a lot of faith in him. And I thought he played well last year. I thought he showed a lot of mettle in terms of, especially the game against the Patriots last year. That showed me a lot about Trubisky, and one of the reasons why I've been so high on him on this show. You have to start to wonder, though, whether or not he might – I'm not saying that he's a bad quarterback or that he doesn't belong in the league or anything like that, because I've read some stuff on him that is really harsh. But I do believe that now you have to start looking at the fact of who is going to be the best person under center to lead the Chicago Bears offense. And if it's not going to be Mitch Trubisky and you make the decision that he's not the answer – then all of a sudden, does it become an issue where you jettison Matt Nagy at the end of the season, or do you roll with Trubisky and get your hopes there, or do you move on and say, you know what, it's not his fault, we're going to stay with Nagy and we're going to bring in another quarterback? That being said, the Bears still have a tremendous amount of talent on both sides of the ball. They're a little bit of an anomaly to me right now. I still believe they can string together some wins, but it's getting awful late in the season. We turned the clocks back last week.
Yep.
The darkness is coming now, and earlier on here on the East Coast, all over the country.
Yep.
Getting darker earlier without any question. That twilight is about to hit in Chicago, and they really have to start stringing together some wins and stringing together some positives in order to move forward, because I'm not sure what that means for their season this year. But even if all they're playing for is pride at this point, I still think they have the talent to be able to do it.
I really think so also. Tough loss for the Bears last Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles. But I'm going to give you a layup, my friend. You want to talk about a team that is downtrodden right now? They reside within your division, and they lost to a team that was openly tanking for Tua. And you know the team I'm speaking about. I'm not going to mention them here.
Well, it's really, it's an easy target right now for the Jets. And look, they're an NFL football team. I go back and forth. Obviously the rivalry between the Jets and the Patriots, the proximity, New York and Boston.
Mm-hmm.
We have our fun. But
Right.
if I'm a Jets fan right now, I'm really, really feeling kind of low in my gut. The reason being is not even so much for their record or anything like that, because the Jets have had bad seasons before.
Right.
This fan base, this team is probably used to that more than they'd like to give themselves credit for. The problem with the Jets right now is they came into this season as a potential playoff sleeper. And I bought into it. I really thought that the Jets had done a lot of great work on both sides of the ball. I figured with Sam Darnold having another year under his belt, this team was primed to do something, maybe not make the playoffs, but challenge for the playoffs, and at least give the Patriots a couple of games where they had to really be on their game in terms of winning the divisional matchup.
Right.
That has not happened. And losing to the Miami Dolphins is not a great way to instill confidence, especially when the disaster at the trade deadline happened. You heard Le'Veon Bell was unhappy about it, the fact that he was rumored in trade rumors. Jamal Adams to this day still confounds me. I still don't understand how you take probably your best player on either side of the ball and alienate him in that fashion.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen for the Jets this year. It is Adam Gase's first year. He does have some pedigree coming in, having worked with Peyton Manning and done some great things offensively. Had an 8-8 season in Miami, so we know the guy can coach, but is he the right fit in New York? I don't know. They've got some serious work to do in the offseason with that team. There's a lot of talent. If they can find a way to bring it together, then the future may not be as bleak as it seems right now in New York, but they really need to push the right buttons behind the scenes because ultimately, the last few years, that's what's doomed this franchise. They need a change in the front office, I think, and really not necessarily a change in personnel, but just a change in philosophy and pick the right guys to lead this team. And I think if you do that, you might have a shot. But, unfortunately, if you're a 2019 fan of the New York Jets, it's not going to get any prettier.
Speaking of having a different philosophy, we have to look at the Cleveland Browns. There was so much hype with them coming into this season. I bought into it a little bit. You bought into it. You told me they would be a sleeper to make the playoffs, but there was always this nagging thought in the back of my mind, these are the Cleveland Browns, and something is going to go left. And my buddy Robert Cobb, who I had on a few moments ago, identified something we didn't look at. They have a porous offensive line, and it's killing them right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad Robert brought that up because that's something I really discovered in the Patriots game a couple of weeks ago. Look, by all means, I mean, I always do my due diligence in terms of covering a team and making sure that I know a little bit about the opponent and as much as I can going into the game. And I saw the difficulties they had on the offensive line. That game really exposed and opened my eyes even more to just how bad that offensive line has played. And look, you can make all the jokes you want about Baker Mayfield. I know we got that picture of him up there that, he looks like either Del Griffith from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles or the Wet Bandits. Or, Yeah, it's funny, but you can see the wear and tear on his face. And look, he's got to shoulder some of the blame here. I'm not completely absolving Baker from all of this. You shoot your mouth off and you start writing checks that your body can't cash, it's going to come back to bite you. So he's experiencing that a little bit right now. But ultimately, what this team lacks, I think, more than anything, is leadership. And the leadership has to come from the front. It has to come from the head coaching position. And I like Freddie Kitchens as a coordinator. I like him as a potential coach. But to put him in charge of a team that had a tremendous amount of hype coming into the season, a lot of superstars, and a lot that could potentially go wrong, I think was probably a bad fit from the beginning. What you need is someone in there that these guys are going to automatically respect. They're automatically going to listen to and bring that together. So, yeah, Cleveland has definitely been a disappointment. I had higher hopes for them. I think a lot of people did, but ultimately it's just been a disaster in Cleveland, and it's on the verge of implosion. If they don't win a couple of games here soon, it would not shock me if they moved on from Freddie Kitchens before the end of the season. And that's probably a bold prediction. That might be a little bit of a hot take, but I just don't see it getting any better anytime soon.
I don't see it getting any better either. And like I said, my buddy Robert Cobb brought this up. Follow Robert Cobb at the Inscriber magazine. The offensive line is porous. The offense itself is porous. And the game that exposed a side of the game in New England, the game I believe that exposed the problems of the Cleveland Browns as a team on all phases of the ball was the beatdown in the Bay on Monday night.
Definitely. By all question, but without any question, the San Francisco 49ers game was the game that I think really sunk the Cleveland Browns season before it even began. And I think the Patriots used a lot of what the San Francisco 49ers did as a blueprint. Again, I don't like some of these terms because I think they're blanketed. They're used too haphazardly, but they really did. They looked at what the 49ers did, and they were able to do that. I think the 49ers played them a lot tougher than the Patriots did. To me, that was the most demoralizing loss for this ball club, and something that I don't think they ever really recovered from.
Juicy matchup comes Monday night. We'll dive into this more on Friday. But Monday night in the Bay is probably the biggest house money payoff for San Francisco when they host the Seattle Seahawks with Russell Wilson balling out of his mind. But I said it about a few other quarterbacks earlier in the season, and you've been with me all season. And I put Russell Wilson in this sentence. He's played some good defenses, but he hasn't seen this 49er defense.
No, he has not. And that is really the true test. And we saw the New England Patriots, in essence, and I don't want to say they failed their test because I think everybody is getting a little excited about the fact that the Patriots are 8-1 as opposed to being 9-0. Look, they lost again, and I give all the credit to the Ravens. But when you face a quality of opponent that you're not used to facing, it can change things in the blink of an eye. And I use that example about New England because that's exactly what happened here on Sunday night. This coming Monday, it's going to be a real eye-opener. We're going to learn a lot about the Seattle Seahawks and how good that offense is. Look, I think they're very good. I love Russell Wilson as a player. I always have. From the time that he came into the league to the very present day, I think he just plays the game the right way, and he's a guy I absolutely love to watch.
Absolutely.
But he is facing a formidable pass rush in the San Francisco 49ers. Their secondary has been excellent. Their linebackers have provided good coverage. They're playing very similar to the way the Patriots are playing, where they're using some of that 3-4-4-3-0 blitz to confuse their opponents. The linebackers are being able to run free, and the defensive line is able to get after the quarterback. That allows the secondary to play tight man coverage, and they've been doing that. When they get in trouble, the linebackers can drop in. You drop 7 back, and all of a sudden the quarterback doesn't have anywhere to throw. Now, Russell Wilson will have his share of weapons. He's getting another weapon back on Monday night. He is expected to play, and I'm talking about former Patriot, former Brown, Josh Gordon. He has shown signs this year of being able to be prolific. However, they don't think the Patriots saw enough of it. And at that point, they valued the roster spot and they chose to move on from Josh. But he's still got something left in the tank. That's going to be my X factor in this game. Does that addition of Josh Gordon change the complexity enough of the Seattle offense to be able to hang with the San Francisco defense? This is going to be one of San Francisco's toughest tests to date as well. But I think the Niners challenge.
I believe they're up to the challenge also. It's going to be a hell of a matchup at Levi's Stadium. Like I said, we'll dive more into this on Friday when we do our picks. That's Mike Debate joining me from Full Press Coverage. Follow him online at MDABATEFPC on Twitter. And folks, please check out fullpresscoverage.com, one of our streaming partners of Snowman in the Morning. And I have fun with him and Ian on certain days during the week when we do our crossover Snowman in the Morning and FBC Radio Live. I love this man dearly for coming on to my show, believing in the show. And folks, if you want to be a contributor, drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. Get you worked in as well. Mike, my brother, always a pleasure, my friend.
Always a pleasure. You know, I love you like family, my friend, and that is true today is the day that we met, and it's always an honor for me to come on the show. I'm very proud to be a part of it, and I'm so proud of the work that you're doing. Keep killing it because you're doing an amazing job, my friend. And I can't wait to talk to you on Friday to do some picks.
I can't wait to talk to you on Friday either, and we already know what the last game is going to be. We kind of dove into it just a few moments ago. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. Have a great day.
Mike Debate joining me here from Full Press Coverage as he does every Wednesday and Friday. And remember, Friday will be the day that we do our picks. So stick around. We're going to have some juicy games on the matchup, including what could be the NFC West Division title game, the Seahawks and 49ers in Santa Clara. 80 seconds of a break, but when we come back, I'll have the question of the day. Steeds will join me to start hour 2. We're having fun here. We hope you are also. Back in a flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
That's excellent. What?
Second here. It's here. Snowman in the Morning rolls on. Hey, folks, don't forget you can catch the podcast on Breaker, Radio Public, Anchor, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and iHeartRadio. We're back on iHeartRadio. I beg your pardon. And we hope that you are enjoying the show. Catch me live every day, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Central Time on Arena Sportsnet, Full Press Radio, KSRN Arizona, and Western Reserve Digital Radio 2. Second half is here. Email the show at snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. If you want your chance to get your brand out there, very reasonable rates. You can advertise by the day, the month, the week, or the year. Rates are up on our flagship station website, arenasportsnet.com/advertise. And you know I'm going to be pumping that out there. Follow us on our social media, Facebook and Twitter. The ID you need is at SIT Morning. And on Instagram, we decided to go with the full ID, Snowman in the Morning. Chris Deeds coming in 120 seconds from now to talk college football playoff. But I got a question of the day for you. And I went over this in my head, you know, what question am I going to ask, all that good stuff. You know, I haven't done a question of the day that has been off the board for a while. And I'm going to do one right now. And it involves something that I had to go through this week. And I feel this is very, very important. The question of the day is, how do you handle a very stressful situation? I'll rephrase. What gets you calm in these kind of in stressful situations? That's our question of the day. You can find the question of the day on Twitter and Facebook. ID you need is at SIT Morning. And the reason I bring that up while I'm waiting for Chris Dietz to ring in, the reason I bring that up is because, as I mentioned, without getting into detail, I had to deal with two very stressful situations at work. And it really set me back mentally. And I know I have to do a much better job of dealing with stress. I've never dealt with stress well until lately, and I thought I was doing better. But then some incidents happened, and I didn't handle them well at all. I'm not going to change who I am. I'm just going to get better at handling those kinds of situations. So that's my question of the day. How do you handle very stressful situations? One of the first things I do, I come home to my wife. She has provided that kind of comfort, that kind of stress relief. And I want to say hello to a very special friend of mine, Mr. Craig Way, the voice of the Texas Longhorns, who gave me a peek. Joel Swan, Bob Dorman, listening in as well. But like I said, one of the first things I do, and I didn't have this in years past, one of the first things I want to do, I want to come home to my wife and just sit and chill out and talk about everything that's going on. And I know this ain't a relationship show, but I'm just relaying my experience in the question of the day. How do you deal with a stressful situation? Is there a family member that you go to? Is there a friend that you talk to? Is there something that you watch on television? One of the things my wife and I do, we watch television, or we watch something on YouTube that'll take the stress level down a little bit, no matter what the stressful situation is. One of the things we both love is comedy. I am a big fan, and y'all know my favorite comedian is George Carlin, But I also love the fellows who were on the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, Bill Engvall, Jeff Foxworthy, Ron White, and Larry the Cable Guy. And lately, I've been watching a lot of Bill Engvall's new stuff, and it's had me cracking up laughing. It's had me cracking up. And that's one of the things I do. Of course, you guys know I love cartoons. I love Bugs Bunny. I love Looney Tunes. That's what gets me that gets me calm as well. But just a few simple things, and my wife talks about it all the time. It's the simple things that get you through, and it's gotten us through. We've had some very difficult times since we moved, but it only brought us closer because we sat down and said, you know what, let's put our heads together and let's figure it out. And one of my dearest friends said the same thing to me. He said, you know what, Snowman, you got to be yourself. And when you get in a stressful situation, you can't just run. You can't put your head in the sand. And that's something my wife repeated to me also. You got to deal with it. You've got to get yourself calm, get yourself recollected, and deal with it. I've had to learn that lesson over and over and over and over and over again. And my dad would say the same thing to me. But that's the reason I brought it up. I want to know what you guys do to deal with stress. How do you go through it? That's a question of the day. I know I got Deets coming on here in a little bit. He's actually late. But that's all right though. That is all right. Yeah, that's our question of the day. How do you deal with stress? Tweet the show at SIT Morning. Follow the show on Facebook. SIT Morning's the ID. Or if you're following us on Instagram, you need the full ID, Snowman in the Morning. All right, back to sports and back to football. I'm saving college football for when Chris comes on here in a few moments. What the hell happened to New York professional football? I thought Monday night, I'll start with the Giants. I thought after two straight wins with their rookie quarterback, Daniel Jones, I beg your pardon, that, it would signal a turnaround for them. Unfortunately, it hasn't. They've just been swept by the Cowboys in the regular season. And Monday night outlined something that kind of hurt me because once upon a time I was a fan of the Giants, Bill Parcells and company. What happened? You had the feeling that early this season the decision would be made to move on from Eli Manning. He hasn't started since week 2. Daniel Jones has looked good at times, but it's been at times. But I think there's a lot of room for improvement for the New York Giants, which leads me to the New York Jets. What the hell is going on in Jets country? This is a team that has not recovered since I can't stand it. The butt fumble. They haven't recovered since the butt fumble. And then earlier this year, they get blasted on Monday night, or the appropriate term is blitzed, because they were blitzed all over the place on almost every down up until the fourth quarter by the New England Patriots, and they got shut out that night. But this past Sunday, they lost to a team that is openly losing to get themselves a better quarterback. They are openly tanking, are the Miami Dolphins. And yet, the Dolphins found a way to beat the New York Jets. How do you explain that? How do you explain the Dolphins out-tanking the Jets? I couldn't believe what I was watching. And then, first drive of the game, they go right downfield, put it in the end zone for a touchdown, get a 3-and-out, get the ball back, and then they turn it over. They expect Sam Darnold to be an answer. Actually, the problem goes a little bit deeper than Sam Darnold. You can't exonerate Sam Darnold for what's been going on with the Jets, especially lately. And I thought after they beat the Cowboys and hit them with a 92-yard touchdown pass that I said, hey, this might be the turnaround finally of the New York Jets. Boy, was I wrong. The Jets beat the Cowboys, and the Cowboys drilled the Giants. How do you explain that? How do the Cowboys get so angry that they take it out on the Giants and beat them 37-18, and the Giants led that game 12-3? The Giants shot themselves in the foot by not taking advantage of red zone opportunities, only getting field goals instead of touchdowns. That's killed them. Their defense has killed the Giants. It's demoralized the Jets. Now, borrowing from what Mike said earlier when I had him on, Adam Gase is in his first season, but after listening to a couple of New York shows, I'm a big fan of WFAN. Adam Gase looks like a mistake. A mistake hire. Why didn't they go after Mike McCarthy? Why did they go after Le'Veon Bell instead of investing in a rookie running back? Well, those are questions that'll be answered later. But at the same time, I kind of feel for teams like the Jets and the Bears and the Browns going through all of this turmoil on the field, which is going to lead to turmoil off the field. That's scary. That's scary. You heard Mike earlier say, I had a lot of high hopes for Mitch Trubisky. I did. Now I ain't so sure. I was never sure about Sam Darnold in the first place. And it seems like Darnold's beginning to prove me right. Or he has been proving me right for a while now. Hell, the quarterback I was worried about getting jettisoned early was Matthew Stafford, but at least Matthew Stafford's kind of performing. Baker Mayfield, haven't seen much improvement for him here in his second full season, and they gave him the keys to the offense. I don't see it. I absolutely don't see it. You got to feel for you somewhat got to feel for franchises that are downtrodden. And speaking of franchises that are downtrodden and have enormous circumstances to get through, I'll throw an NBA note in here while we're cruising along, second hour of Snowman in the Morning. Want to advertise during our program? Drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That's snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. I got to put this note in here. There is a team that I have followed since 2007 that is going through the ringer. And, of course, that team is the Golden State Warriors, the defending 5-time Western Conference champions. They are dealing with injuries to their core. Steph Curry out with a broken hand. Klay Thompson, a torn ACL. Draymond Green, an injured hand. And they're only playing with 10 players. And yet they're being as competitive as possible. Now, what gets on my nerve about this is the fact that no one wants to see the injuries that Golden State has to deal with. I keep hearing, well, this will show how great of a coach Steve Kerr is. Well, Steve Kerr, yes, has had some great players, but he's a great coach also. He's going to prove himself. Don't you worry. Phil Jackson had to go through it, losing some of his core players. Red Auerbach, Pat Riley, they've all at one time or another had to lose some of their core players to injury, and yet they still coach their team. They still coached them up. Why is it so different now? Steve Kerr will have these guys ready to play, especially tonight when they face the paper champion Houston Rockets. Everybody's giving Houston more of a chance to reach the Western Conference Finals than the defending Western Conference champions in the Golden State Warriors. Why is that? Houston's healthy. They got James Harden. They got Russell Westbrook. And that relationship is going to fail miserably before the end of the season. But you want to give Houston the same kind of opportunity you don't want to give to Golden State because Golden State is injured? What kind of fan are you? If you're first, and I bring this up because Cole Johnson brought it up in a conversation we had off the air. Steph Curry out 3 months with a broken hand. If your first thought isn't, I hope Steph Curry heals and gets well and gets back on the court, then you're not much of a fan. The messages that I saw wishing ill to Steph Curry sickened me. It sickened me. It sickens me. And they still want to throw shade at him and a few others. Not much fandom involved there. That's just pure unadulterated hatred. And I hate that. No pun intended. Got to pause for the cause, and hopefully I'm going to get Chris Dietz on here very soon to talk college football playoff. They revealed their first four. And I believe I'm not going to go to a break because I think I got Dietz on here right now. What up, Dietz?
Hey, no need to break. I'm right here.
How you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there.
That makes two of us. Okay, let's get to it. The CFP revealed their first top four. Any surprises?
No surprises in the top four. And the way I always look at this is I always look at especially the first one, it tells me what the committee is looking for.
Okay.
And how they're ranking these teams. And basically a lot of people are going to act surprised and they're going to feign surprised that Clemson's not, the fact that Clemson's not in the top five, that they're not in the top four doesn't make a lick of difference. Because if you look at the teams that they did put in, basically what the committee did is they said, hey, we're going to set up de facto playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
Because they put Ohio State. I mean, we can argue over the numbers. We can argue over why is Ohio State one? Why is it? It's a waste of our breath because it's going to shake itself out. Ohio State's going to play Penn State, and it's going to shake itself out. And, of course, this weekend, the game of the century.
LSU and Bama.
LSU is going to play Alabama. So all of that's going to shake itself out. What I look for in the initial poll is, where are the outside teams? And what you saw the committee tell you is, hey, losses don't. Last year and for every year we've had this, they've said losses don't. It doesn't matter who you lose to. What only matters is who you beat, and that stayed pretty much the same throughout this poll. With Georgia
and what
being
fans need to keep in mind is that this is only the first one, and it's November. It ain't January.
Yes, this will change. However, what they did is they basically gave themselves an out, and they basically said, "All right, we have four teams at the top that are going to play each other, so we might as well throw them all in here, and that way when they play each other, we can build up the game. That's pretty much what they did.
So LSU plays Bama this weekend. What do you see for that game?
Well, we were joking a little bit before in our chat before. It's the game of the century for the third time this century. But I think this one trumps all the other ones.
Really?
And if you remember the last time we had a game of the century, it was Tyrann Mathieu. The game ended, I believe, if I remember correctly, I think it was 7-6.
9-6.
9-6, yeah. It was a field goal. It was defense. That's not going to be the case.
And
this
that
time.
was in Tuscaloosa. If memory serves me right, that's in Tuscaloosa. It was in Tuscaloosa with that field goal.
Yes. Yes, but that last time defenses were there were marquee defenses. This time, every marquee player on both these teams is on the offensive side.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be, if you remember back to the last one, I think I was the only one that championed it as, wow, that was a great game.
Yeah.
Everybody else, where was the offense? And about it.
Right.
We won't have that problem. I mean, now, the big question on everybody's mind, and nobody knows because both these teams had byes, but the is how healthy is Tua?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll find out, and I'm sure LSU will test him early to see how that ankle is. But on the other hand, I think this is going to be the game that everybody was looking for, because it's going to be Joe Burrow. It's going to be, is that LSU offense for real? And it'll be fun to watch. I can't wait for this game.
There was another game that you gave me that concerns the Big Ten shaking in its boots for Minnesota and Penn State. Why'd you put it in that? Why?
The Big Ten is as scared as they can be. Wherever the Big Ten offices are, they're shaking in their boots, and they're just praying that PJ Fleck does not keep rowing that boat against Penn State this weekend.
Why?
Why
are they praying? Why are they praying for that?
Well, they need to. What they need to keep intact is they need to keep that Ohio State Penn State intact. If Penn State loses to Minnesota, now you've got to throw a monkey wrench into the rest of what they've built up.
Oh, you mean like Northwestern did last year?
Right. If Penn State loses prior to playing Ohio State, now you're opening up a whole new can of worms. That, what happens if Penn State loses to Minnesota, but Penn State beats Ohio State? Now you're talking about the Big Ten maybe not even having two teams at the start, and maybe not even get one of them.
One, right.
And if you look at what the committee did, undefeated Minnesota, they started them at 17 in the poll.
Mm-hmm.
How is that going to look? If Minnesota, think about it, can they run the table and get to the college football playoff? Being at 17, that's a tough climb.
Yeah, it is.
Look at all the teams they have to jump over just to get there. Is it out of the realm of possibility? No, because like I said, they have Penn State this weekend. They have Wisconsin. They have Iowa coming up. And then possible meeting with Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. So they do Can they make that climb? I don't know. Starting at 17, that's going to be a tough climb and a tough sell.
Well,
the Big Ten is shaking in their boots.
Well, we saw
this
last year. Well, we saw this last year. We saw this last year with the Northwestern Wildcats. Because no one expected NU to win the Big Ten West and challenge Ohio State for the Big Ten championship game. We talked about this last year.
Yeah, and we talked about how how would that affect Ohio State? And look at what happened to Ohio State and where they went in that final poll. That they didn't get a lot of credit for that win over Northwestern. It only built them up to 5. Well, in a 14 playoff, that means it didn't matter.
They got to change this system. They really do. They really do. Chris Deet's on the line with me talking college football playoff, and I never gave you a chance to explain how you would fix the college football playoff. I'm going to give you that chance right now. Go for it.
Oh God. It's such what needs to happen will never happen. And
that is
I've talked about it. What they need to do is they need to cap. What they need to do is they basically need to create. To me, I would create 6 conferences. Okay.
Okay. What are the 6?
And the first thing I would do is say, look, no conference can be greater than 18. We are going to have every conference is going to have, I would say 10. Every conference is going to have 10 teams in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to play your 10. It's going to be basically the way the Big 12 does their championships. Okay. For every conference.
Okay.
And we're going to have 12. So you're going to have 9 games. You're going to play everyone in your conference. You're going to play everybody. I don't care. I don't care about this. No more of this. Oh, well, Auburn Georgia gets to play Auburn, but Alabama hasn't played Georgia in the regular season in probably I can't remember the last time Georgia played Alabama in a regular season game.
I can't remember the last time.
That's not going to happen. So everybody's going to play each other, and that's how we're going to deal. That's how we're going to deal the conferences. Everybody's going to play each other. It's going to go back to the old school way of doing things. Before we had conference championship games, before the SEC ruined college football with the championship game, we're going to take that. That would be my first fix. And basically what you would do is you would have the first round of the playoffs is basically on that championship, what we call Championship Saturday, which is the first weekend in December. That would basically be your first round of the playoffs.
Okay.
Instead of having conference championships, you would have your 8 teams, 6 of them from the conferences. All your conference champions are in. Okay? And you can divvy it up however you want. I've done a little bit of it, but think about it. You have 6 conferences with 6 conferences, 10 teams each. That's 60 teams.
Yes.
That's 60 teams. Because if you actually look at, I think the way I did it, I had 7 conferences with 70 teams. And if you look at it, that's really who's in contention. I mean, there's not a lot else out there. But the thing you would have to do is you would have to split conferences. You'd have to split people up. You'd have to shrink everything down. And you would basically have to tell people, hey, look, football is different. You know, do whatever you want for basketball, do whatever you want, but football has to be different.
Okay.
Because there's not enough games. You know, in basketball, it's fine to be in a conference and to play, you know, because you're playing what did they play? Like 35, 40 games?
Yes.
Football, we only have 12. We only have 16 weeks to figure this out. We can't be having, we can't have all these different things, all these different things. And it eliminates all of these things of, oh, well, these guys didn't play here. These guys didn't play there. These guys didn't do this. No, everybody played in the conference. Everybody played their conference guys. And that's how you have to do it. Then you have to get rid of this. And I'm going to give a shout out to my Trinity Gauntlet host, Ben. We do Trinity Gauntlet Sunday nights now on KJC Radio.
Oh, sweet. Hint for the folks on Arena Sports
My boy
Net.
Ben is the champion. My boy Ben's the champion of this. We have to stop this pay for play stuff. We have not the athlete, not the athletes. I'm talking about this pay for play. Hey, come to our school, Division I AA team. Come to our school and get a beat down. Come to our school, get a beat down. Here's some cash and go home. We gotta get rid of this. We gotta get rid of it. There's no need for Clemson to play Wofford last weekend. There's no need for Alabama to be playing Western Carolina in 2 weeks. All right? There's no need for those games. Get those out. Get those out of college football. There's no need for those. If you want to play a scrimmage against a D1 AA team in August before the season starts, go right ahead. If you want to scrimmage those guys during your bye week, go right ahead. But don't give me this crap that that Clemson can schedule Wofford in week 11. That's not how it works. Everybody needs to be playing against proper opponents.
Yeah, conference opponents.
Properly scheduled. And that's where it comes down to. Get the schedules out of the hands of the schools. Get it out. Take it out of their. The NCAA is big enough. I'll tell you right now. I'll apply for the job right now. I will schedule all 162 colleges. I'll figure it out.
I'll help you figure it out.
If Mark Emmert is listening, I will take on that responsibility. Just give me a call. Call me up. I will take care of it. I will schedule things out. I'll make it so that it works. But that's what has to happen. You have to stop with this. Hey, Notre Dame is going to play Michigan in 2032. What? Stop scheduling games 20 years in advance. Okay? Schedule everything over the summer. We'll figure out the best. We'll figure out what we think are going to be the best matchups. We'll figure out some good things. We'll figure out ways to schedule teams. Hey, if you finish here and here and here and this in your conference, you get to play this, and this team. Like that. That's how it needs to happen.
Yeah.
That's the fix to college football. That's how we get marquee matchup. We have good thing. And yes, I agree. Rivalries are important, but sometimes you got to break rivalries up. Sometimes rivalries, every team has their one major rivalry, and we've talked about like some of these secondary rivalries.
Yes.
Some of those are going to have to go, and you're going to have to take teams and put them into when you talk about conference realignment, like what I'm talking about, you're going to have to make new ones. You're going to have to make new rivalries. You're going to have to bring old rivalries back.
So what? So give me a few examples of what rivalries would go in your system and what rivalries would return in your system.
Well, one that would return, and I think it's a travesty that they don't do this game anymore. And I think both programs are hurting because this game doesn't exist. One that I would return is Texas A&M would no longer be. Texas A&M and Texas would be back on the schedule.
I knew it. I'd love to have that rivalry back. I miss it.
But another one that I would bring back in, and a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people don't know this as a rivalry, and it hasn't been for a long time. SMU and Arkansas would be back.
The old
they'd be back in the same conference.
Southwest Conference.
That was a huge rivalry back in the day.
Would you bring back the SWC? Would you bring back the Southwest Conference?
It would. I think Arkansas. It would swing on Arkansas and where they fit. And like I said, I came up with 10 team conferences. So it basically, you'd take all the Texas teams, lump them together with Oklahoma State, and then you have to see where Arkansas fits in. Off the top of my head, I can't remember if Arkansas was part of that or if they were part of the other, but it's one of those that Arkansas is one of those swing states that you could be like, all right, we could put them in with the Texas guys and have some rivalries.
Arkansas, I know was in the Southwest. Arkansas, I know was in the Southwest Conference for a long time. The core members of the Southwest Conference were Rice, SMU, Texas A&M, TCU, Baylor, Arkansas, and Texas. Those were the 7 core schools in the Southwest Conference.
Yes, and again, with my plan, as I've said, 8. If you went to 7 with 10 teams, all conferences can only have 10 teams. That's what needs to happen. They need to cap it so that they can say, all right. And the reason why you cap it at 7 is, or the reason why you cap it at 10 is so that you can say, all right, look, you have 9 games against. We only have 11 games. Every team has 11 games, so that every team is playing the same amount. No team is playing a conference championship game. No team is playing basically the week after. I mean, the week after Thanksgiving is usually like your rivalry weekend. That's what you have, and then the week after that's championship weekend. You need to cap it so that everybody has the same amount of conference games. That's what needs to happen. And that's why you need to cap it. And you need to say no conference can be bigger than, and I would say 10. That seems like a good number. Plus you have a nice round number. You have an odd number, so you are able to break tie. You have easy tie break. It makes tiebreakers easy. It makes everything is easier to do. But that's what you need to do. And when you're doing conference alignment, you need to lump like teams together. So, like I said, Texas teams have to be kept together as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
With that, you have to keep. If you're going to put Texas teams, you have to have. It's like that with Texas. Texas is a prime example of that. Their primary rival is Oklahoma. You have to keep Oklahoma together.
Yep.
And with that, does that mean Oklahoma State? Oklahoma State. Where did they go? Are they included in that? Probably. I mean, if you ask, I'd have to ask Sooner fans, who's your biggest rival? They're going to tell you Texas.
Red River Shootout.
They're not even going to say Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
that's River. Not even their biggest. Even though that's like in-state rival, it's still Texas OU. So that's what I mean by like some of these are gonna have to go, and it's just how the game works. Some of it's gonna happen.
So which ones go? Which ones go?
Which ones go? You'd have to look at. I was thinking, almost off the top of my head, you're probably going to lose Florida, Georgia, because you're probably going to lump all the Florida teams together.
Yeah.
You're probably going to put all the Florida teams together along with maybe a couple up the coast, but you're not going to put, I mean, again, it all matters how you break down the conference, but you also might lose Alabama, Georgia. I mean,
oh man,
you might lose that every year because of where Alabama's situated. They might be in their own conference. But I mean, you think about it. How awesome would it be for a Florida sports fan to have Florida versus Miami versus Florida State, Miami versus Florida, have those games matter again. And then imagine how awesome it would be to have where you're not creating a rivalry, but you're creating something that matters. South Carolina against Clemson. Now all of a sudden it's a conference game. It matters.
Yeah.
Instead of just being a end of the year and the same thing with Florida State, Florida. Instead of just being an in-state rival, now you're looking at it as a conference game. It matters. Everything's important. Everything's important there.
How about Georgia Tech? Would that fall in that same description?
Exactly. It's no longer, hey, this is it's no longer, hey, this is just an in-state like supremacy thing. This is it. It matters more when it's a conference. When it's a conference game, when hey, everybody who wins a conference is automatically in. Mm-hmm. It becomes, hey, we can play spoiler here. For if Georgia Tech is not in it, we can spoil. We can play spoiler here, and knock them out. That's a huge deal. For Georgia, hey, if we don't win this game, we're not going to any kind of playoff. That's my first thing. Is getting the conferences right is so important. That's how you do it. Then, like I said, the first round of the playoff, if you could easily replace it with the championship Saturday, and then you keep everything intact. So you basically have 8 teams in. You have 8 games on that. You have 4 games on that day. There's your first round right there. Then it's what happens after that? 4 teams are eliminated. And guess what? You have the same system we have now of, hey, we have 4 teams headed to January. They get it done that way. That I think is the easiest. That's the easiest way to fix college football. It's not easy. It's not easy as far as once you divvy up the teams, it's easy. And the problem is getting people out of, hey, we're not going to have a Pac-12 championship game. We're not going to have a Big 12. There's too much money in it. There's too much money in the Dr. Pepper, Big 10 championship game. There's too much money in that. And until they can see their way past that's what's ruining college football.
Understood. That's Chris Deeds joining me as he does every Wednesday for Hour 2, talking how to fix the college football playoff, and the first 4 have been released. Always a pleasure, my man. Thanks for coming on.
Always. We'll keep you up to date.
All right. Thank you, brother.
All right. Thank you.
And remember, Trinity Gauntlet will be airing on Arena Sportsnet, as well as the Fit Down Sports Show, days and times to be determined. And I want to thank y'all for tuning in this morning. It's about all I got for you. You can hear the replay on Full Press Coverage, as well as KSRN Arizona. That'll do it for this Wednesday edition. I want to thank you for joining me, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Until then, have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move, and always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then they are not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. I am, and I hope y'all are too. Till tomorrow, Snowman out.